Hey folks, this is Warren Marshall, Pro and Fight Talk. I had a very busy weekend. It was starting Friday, it was the press conference. And then Saturday it was the weigh-in. The weigh-in started, supposed to start at 5, but it started a little earlier. Luckily I got there in time to cover the main televised portion of the weigh-in. So I had that covered for the boxing fans along the Beltway and everywhere else. And Saturday, was able to cover the fight. Just a long weekend, and I'm really on here basically to tell everyone how much I really appreciate everyone with all their efforts, as far as the fighters, the trainers, even the boxing fans, and thank you guys for your support. And last night was something, when it comes to covering fights, it's kind of frustrating. I get frustrated because, I think God gave me this gift and the ability to be able to share what he gave to me. And that's to be able to communicate with people and share my knowledge of boxing and to actually gather information and to be able to share it with all the boxing fans to make the fighters be able to grow and get known and get more popular. Myself, and especially with Gary Williams, I appreciate him very much for allowing me to come alongside him through this journey, in the Beltway boxing area. But the frustrating part is, after last night, we have media there, we have mainstream media there, we have, some other media, from the area that comes out. And the thing is, media comes out for the big fights. But if anyone ever really noticed that Gary and I, we cover fights where there is no media. It's just Gary and I. And we keep you guys informed of everything from the fighters that even the local fans still don't even know and have no aware of that they fight here until we let them know that. So that's what our job is, to let these fans know what's going on in the Beltway area, and we keep it consistent. And it frustrates me too when we go to these big shows, that I get to the media section is full of media, and people I haven't seen before. And some faces I have seen before. I really appreciate, what I do appreciate is, I appreciate the fact that we have some media that comes from out of town to cover this area. And I love that. And it kind of, it bothers me when we have local talent here that only comes to pick and choose what shows they come to. And it's not to step on anybody's toes or anything, but it's just straight facts, and I'm friends with some of them, and the thing is, to make this area grow, we have to stay consistent and we have to stay dedicated, just like the fighters stay dedicated to getting inside that ring and blood, sweat, and tears sometimes, on the media side, we have to do the same thing. We have to recognize that. And that's what Gary and I do. So last night, after the main event was over, press row was completely clear. And guess who was left to cover the last fights that after the main event, which was Patrick Harris, a newer fighter out of the Headbangers gym. You can look on my blog and you'll see the write-up. And also Keyshawn Williams. Those are the last three. And that's what you call swing bouts, if people don't know. The last fights that closed up, the crowd was leaving. Those guys in the ring only had the fans that followed them, to support them. And Gary and I were the only ones there. We were the only ones there. We look around and the media section was empty. Gary and I were the only ones there, and we didn't leave until maybe after it was definitely after midnight, close to 1 o'clock in the morning when we left, and I asked the media people in this area, please come out and support these guys, because they need it. We watched a lot of fighters from the amateur days grow into be, the champions that they are. We've seen Gary and I, we appreciate boxing in this area so much because we've seen these fighters grow. We've seen these fighters in their amateur days. We've seen these fighters when they didn't think that they were going to be world champions, but they are world champions. We've seen fighters that were destined to be world champions, and then it came true. And my thing is, I just want to let everybody know that we keep staying, Gary and I, we stay dedicated and put in a lot of time to cover these guys. And you know, sometimes me personally, I don't really care if somebody has a negative thought about how I cover the fights or what I write about the fights, because I write the outcome of the fights, and that's basically it. You know, and that's what in media, that's what you're supposed to do. You know, it's not going to be everything you like to hear every time, you know, and that's just what I do. And I just want to make put the results out there of what happened in the fight. You know, some of our guys come up short. Some of our guys get knocked out. Some of our guys have won decisions they probably wasn't deserving to win. Some of our guys, you know, dominate fights. We cover it all. You know, from the referees, you know, it could be some bad judgments. It could be some bad judgments on the judges scoring the fight. We cover it all. So, and the thing, we've maintained good relationships, even though, you know, some of them might not agree, and that's what we like about it, you know, and it's nothing personal on that side. It's just the way the sport is. You know, you have to cover what you see and cover the right results, as long as we have the right results. And but that's what I wanted to talk about. You know, I just wanted to talk about the fact that we spent a lot of time, Gary and I, going to these fights, covering these local fights at the small venues. We only have like a few hundred people that come out to see these fighters. And then you go to a venue where there's thousands of people. People come out the woodwork. You know, media covers come out the woodwork. And then when the mainstream over and we have our local guys, you know, fighting on the not so popular side of the card, Gary and I are the only ones left there to cover it. You know, and it's frustrating. It's very frustrating because, you know, it's sites out there that these local guys can get on that can be to make them more popular. And even if it's not popular, it's just to make their name, get them some more notoriety. You know, and that's what I would like, you know, get more notoriety. And sometimes, shoot, it's some cards that sometimes I really don't feel like going to, but I do. Because I got to stay 100% dedicated to what I do and what I promised myself I was going to do for you guys, the fans. You know, and that's all I need to say about it, because people see Gary, you know, the fans see Gary, the fighters see Gary, the commissioners see Gary, the trainers, the managers, they see Gary and I, you know, consistently. And Saturday night we covered the weigh-ins. We left the weigh-ins to be at Rosecroft at 7:30 to cover along the semifinals, the final semifinal day of the Golden Gloves, the Washington Golden Gloves. We did that night. It was like midnight when we left. Then after midnight, and then we put another long night, a fight night, right there at the MGM at National Harbor. You know, another time after midnight, close to 1 o'clock. You know, and I tell you, it's frustrating, but to me, it's something that I love to do. And I do it without any expectations of anything in return. I just like the appreciation that knowing that the fact that fans are getting the information they need to know to get tickets to these fights, to go out to support these fighters. And I want you guys to keep doing it. And I love you guys for it. And thanks for all your support. You know, I thank you for all even some of the comments that the fans probably may not feel that I might not say something right or write something right on the blog. I thank you for the comments because it just makes me better. It makes me more aware of what I need to see or what I need to watch out for the next time. So I appreciate everyone.